Welcome back to the Excel Mastery Series. In the last episode, you learned how to automate your entire data cleaning process in Excel with Power Query using just one file. But today, we're taking that power to the next level. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to combine multiple files, add calculated columns, and turn them into one clean, dynamic data set that refreshes automatically. Before we dive in, make sure you like this video because it helps more people discover this free Excel training. And if you're serious about becoming an Excel automation professional, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any episode in this series. All right, let's begin.
In our previous video, we saw how we can clean data using Excel Power Query. Not just cleaning data, how we can automate it and clean it with just one click when we receive new data. That is a beginner aspect of Excel Power Query. In this video, we are going to also be looking at an advanced feature, an advanced use case of Excel Power Query engine. In this case, we are going to see how we can combine multiple files, multiple Excel files, do the cleaning at once, load it into our Excel, and do the analysis we need to do with it. Here is another good catch in this, is that whenever you receive a fresh data, you don't need to clean it again or copy and paste into any of these Excel files. No, you just receive it into this folder and boom, with just one click, Excel does the rest. For you to know how we do that, let's quickly delve into Excel and see how we can combine these multiple Excel files. We have this sales report from January, February, March, and April sales report, and we want to clean them all together, analyze them all together, and get insights from this data set. And also, when we receive new data, our insights will update. Whatever analysis we did with it, we automatically update with just one click. And to know about that, let's quickly head over to Excel. Here we are in Excel. We go to the data tab, and then we click on get data. Go to from file, and then head over to from folder. Now, once that is done, we wait for it to open up this dialog box. Where did you save that folder? I saved it in the desktop. I will where this is the folder sales report. I click on it and come over to this place and say open. Now, once that is done, Excel is establishing a connection. And of course, immediately it dictates the 4 Excel files in that folder with its extension and other details like the folder path, the attribute of the folder, and all that is being dictated. And then we come over to this. Instead of saying transform data, we want to combine all the 4 data file and then transform it. So we click on combine and then come over to this place and select combine and transform data. Hence we click, once we click that, Excel will begin to evaluate our queries and do some automations, do some connections. And once that is done, it will load us to this aspect where if you click on this sales data, it will load you, it will show you a preview of your data. It shows you a preview of the data we have, and everything is okay. That's what we want, and then we click OK. Once we do that, Excel also begin to process your queries, begin to determine some automatic transformations, evaluation, and after finishing all the internal processing of establishing connection for automation, Excel will now open up the Power Query editor window where we have all our data. And in this video, we are not going to be taking time to be showing all the cleaning processes. All the cleaning processes and things you need to learn has been done in the previous video where we learned how to use Excel Power Query to clean data and automate it. If you missed that video, kindly check the link in the description, or you click the link on this video to get access to that particular training where you learn how to do about how to split, how to remove, how to clean data, how to rename, a lot of cleaning processes without using Excel functions was done in that particular video. Here we are going to be focusing how to combine and then bring in custom columns where we do some basic calculations in this data set and load it back in our Excel. All right, now here we don't need this particular column as per the source name. Hence I will right click and go and say remove. Once we click on it, that is being removed. And of course, as we are taught in the previous video, every step is taken, you see it recorded right here. Then the next thing we're going to do is for the transaction ID, we need to ensure that there is no duplicate, and then every duplicate, if there is any double entry, is being removed. We go to remove row, and we see remove duplicate. We click on it, and duplicate, if there is any duplicate, that is being removed. And here we looked at this, it's okay. Then what we have here, we don't have any challenges. We check all our data is okay. But one thing I always do is in my date, I always come to my date and select a date in case there are some dates that are not in the rightful format, and that is okay by me. The next thing we are going to do is how we can add columns, calculated columns in our data set. Like we have here, we have the quantity, we have the unit price, sales amount, cost per unit. Now let's say we want to know the total cost for each sales. We want to know the profit. We want to say the percentage profit. All right. To do that, we can come over to this place. When we get over to this place, we can come to add columns. Once we do that, we go to custom column. Now, when we click on custom column, a new dialog box will appear. Here we see the new column name. What then do we want? First, we want to put up the total cost. We type the name total costs. All right. Now here is where we enter the formula for the total cost. How do we calculate total cost? Is the quantity sold. The quantity sold times the cost per unit. So here is the quantity. You click on it and you say insert. That is there. Then times shift 8 to have the asterisk. And then cost per unit. You can double click or you say insert. Now let me double click here. And automatically it inserted itself, and here is showing us no syntax error detected, and then we say okay. Automatically we have our new calculated column, which is total cost. Now the next, we also need to know the profit. Our profit, should we want to add profit to our data so that we can have more insight and do more analysis, then we go about to say custom column again. Here we are going to type profits. All right. Now, what is the formula for calculating profit? Of course, to calculate profit is sales amount, because the sales amount is unit price times quantity. So we double click here, sales amount minus the total cost. We double click here, minus the total cost, and that is the formula for calculating profit. And we click on OK. Of course, we have our profit here. Let's say, for example, we also want to add percentage profit. We can also go to custom column, come over to this, remove this. Let's say we want that percentage profit. So we can use this. And what's the formula for percentage profit? Of course, the formula for percentage profit will be profit divided by the total cost. And that is our formula, and we say okay. Now here becomes our percentage profit. If you want to convert it to profit, to percentage right here, you can convert. But the best is when you get to Excel, once you load it into your Excel table, you can convert it to profit. One of the reasons is because whatever you convert here, when it's being loaded to Excel, that will take the data type of the cell in Microsoft Excel. All right. Now, having established that, we see that we need to change what we have here. Total profit, we come here to change the data type. You can change it to decimal because it has decimal. Now we have this for proper analysis. We come over to this as well. We select decimal, we select decimal as well. We come over to this and we select decimal. Now this becomes the data set, the data type for this particular stuff. Now let's take, for example, this here and the ones here, they are not really together. Let's say we want to bring them closer to these ones. What do? We can come over to this and select. We can come over to this, select, hold control, select this, and then we move them. We move them to where we want them to be. Okay, let's say we want them to be here, and we release. Automatically, you see we have cost per unit, total cost, profit, and percentage profit all together with other sales. With other sales details as regards to what we have here. So that's how you can move your stuff in Power Query. And the beauty of it is that all this we are doing here is already recorded. You see the other columns and all that. And once we are happy with what we have, everything seems okay for us, we come over to this place and then we go to this and say close and load. Automatically it will load our cleaned, our calculated columns, our transform columns into Excel interface, and here we have you see that it has loaded 6,600 rows. And if you want to check if they both, the one of what you are seeing here is only April, when you go down, you will also see that of March. To get that, you can come here, click, and then you see you have April, March, you see January, you see March, all effectively done. And that is having cleaned your data, and you load it into Excel, everything done, connection, all everything transformed. And then let's receive a fresh data, and you see how everything will be done. Data, our new data just arrived, May sales report just arrived. We don't need to go about to clean it again or opening it to copy and paste in any of the file like we did in the previous video. What we just need to do is to leave it inside this folder, and then we close our folder, head over to our Excel, and go to our table design. In our table design, come to refresh, and then we select refresh all. And once that is done, everything is being done with ease, is being refreshed. Remember, in our data, when we receive data, we have 6,600 data. Now let's look at it. We can say control down arrow. Now you see we now have over 8,200 data points. That is to tell us our main data just arrived, as we can see here, cleaned, every details whatsoever, everything done, complete, added. There is profit, everything is added to read. And that is how we can automate our data cleaning, combine our multiple files, and then go ahead to do any analysis, whether you get to design your dashboard, whether you get to use your pivot table, do some analysis and get some insight. Whenever you receive a fresh data and you refresh it, automatically everything will update. And now you have learned a more advanced feature, a more advanced use case of our query in data cleaning. Go ahead